Hello, hello. Welcome to Top Shelf Backpacking Trail Fails. This will be episode 1 of a 4 or 5 part series going over my wife's first and so far only backpacking trip. Not all of this trip was a fail. We succeeded in hiking 50 miles from Timberline on Mount Hood in Oregon down the Pacific Crest Trail toward Washington, where we ended at Bridge of the Gods and Cascade Locks. So I will go day by day, tell you a little bit about it, and especially highlight the fails of this trip. So being my wife's first backpacking trip, she was a fairly frequent hiker. We'd go on a lot of day hikes together, and leading up to it, I wanted to make sure we were in good enough shape and kind of ready enough for it. So we had gone on a series of increasingly harder and harder hikes leading up to our August departure, including a 10-mile day where we had the pack on, so fully loaded weight, shoes we were going to wear, gear we were going to wear, clothes and everything, and she did just fine. However, terrain where we were hiking, forest, nice and duffy, I've always followed the guise of size up your hiking shoes to ensure you don't bang your toenails into the toe box. So we had her in some either half or full size up Lone Peaks from Ultra, and she liked them enough. She was wearing them every day at work and everything, making sure they fit and all that. What we didn't take into account is day one, planned 10-ish miles. A lot of it was downhill and a lot of it was sandy. So pretty much immediately she got blisters from the rubbing on her feet. For me, because of the blisters, because of the downhill and everything, I was short stepping, and I was always behind her. You know, she's the slower one leads the pace kind of thing. And because of that, I was taking way more steps than I was used to, and my feet were killing me, just because it wasn't really a pace I was used to walking. The other downside was, because we were often heading downhill that day, we were having to stop all the time. I think we left on a Saturday, and so a lot of people were coming uphill finishing their trips. Actually, I think we left on Sunday, and so it was kind of annoying having to stop all the time once you get a little momentum going. So it didn't condition our feet quite the way I had expected to, didn't prepare on the kind of terrain we were really expecting. But overall, we were slightly off pace, but making it. We stopped for lunch, rehydrated some food, boiled water, all of that kind of stuff. And like I said, near the end of the day, we were a little off schedule. I had 2 itineraries in mind, one where we did things in 4 days, another where we did it in 5, depending on what kind of pace we could actually pull off on trail. So at the end of day 1, we're supposed to camp, if we're going on the slower pace itinerary, about a quarter mile past the Sandy River. The Sandy River is a glacial runoff from the Sandy Glacier, and by the time we got there, I want to say it was 6 or 7 o'clock, like it was really flowing. As we kind of came down to the area, we saw somebody on the other side of it who had obviously cleared it, didn't look soaking wet. We spent a good chunk of time going up and downstream, just looking for easy places to rock hop or see if there were any logs, and we just couldn't find anything worthwhile. 2 older gentlemen came up behind us, were kind of looking around too, and they said, like less than a quarter mile back, there was a good campsite near a creek, easy water. Our other option is to ford it, so just walk right into it and then camp on the other side of it once we get there. Well, we said, well, let's get in it then. So showed her, here's how you want to be facing. You're gonna sidestep, unbuckle all your buckles. If things go wild, ditch that bag, all that kind of safety stuff. We went in, it was about waist deep, cleared the other side of it, got to our camp, took off all the wet clothes. We were able to kind of go rinse them out in a nearby creek. And that was the last time on this trip that we were ever dry, was before we walked into it. So night 1, not a bad night. Nice little campsite there. Had a good meal. We kind of ran some string through some of the blisters because they were fairly gnarly and there were lots of them. So hoping they would kind of drain out overnight. The other mistake was this was her first night on the double sleeping pad we had gotten. So she didn't find it terribly comfortable, and because of that it made for a really rough night's sleep. So day one, we're ending it, we're wet, blistered up, behind pace, and yeah, unsure of what tomorrow may bring. So check back next episode of Trail Fails to learn about day 2 of 50 miles on the PCT, my wife's first and so far only backpacking trip. For information on all the hikes you do see on this channel, visit topshelfbackpacking.com. And until I see you again, cheers.